Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated.
And welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. This week we'll be talking about 72% of game developers say Steam has a monopoly, but is it a monopoly, a lifeline, or both? Let's unpack the truth behind the platform that runs the gaming. And then we also have what you knew about anime. Billion-dollar bloodbaths and dark adult stories are taking over the box office. From Demon Slayer breaking records to Chainsaw Man proving violence sells. R-rated anime isn't just niche anymore, it's a global phenomenon. Why are these films crushing Hollywood blockbusters, and what does this mean for the future of anime? Stick around because the next big anime hit could really change the game. And finally, imagine starting an experiment you'll never see finish and knowing it could outlive you by decades or even centuries. Why do scientists do it, and what secrets do these ultra-long experiments about time, patience, and the very nature of discovery? So take it away, Professor, with the Steam Monopoly story.
Well, as you just said, more than half of developers think that they rely too heavily on Steam, with 72% believing it's a monopoly on the games market. And these statistics come from a white paper from Rocky, R-O-K-K-Y, titled The State of PC Game Distribution, surveying 306 industry executives across the UK and USA, with 75% of respondents being senior managers of the C-suite. So, the C-suite doesn't always tend to be people who actually do the work, so I want to know more about the people they studied, because the C-suite might know how to manage, but they might not know how to actually publish the game. Anyway, for the majority of studios, Steam is 75% of their revenue, and almost half of the companies surveyed have distributed a title on both Steam and... Okay, that's poorly worded.
Oh.
Yeah, it says... the article notes that developers have started utilizing other platforms, including a game store and Xbox PC game store. Then it says almost half of those surveyed have distributed a title to both stores. Which two stores? Because we're talking about 3 stores so far: Steam, Epic, and Xbox.
I'm gonna hazard a guess. It could be just Steam and Epic, because those are the 2 big ones in the PC gaming market. As everyone knows, I mean, Xbox is slowly climbing up. Slowly.
What are you talking about?
You were talking
I know
about
more
which
people who use Xbox than who use Epic.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm sadly mistaken.
A lot of people use Xbox Store because it has Game Pass.
Yeah, okay.
So of the survey, 10% of respondents have used GOG, Good Old Games, and 8% have used itch.io.
Wow, that's a small amount. Damn.
To be fair, the survey is dominated by larger companies, so naturally they would use bigger stores like Steam or Epic rather than itch, because itch is definitely targeted at indie gamers. And 32% of them release some of their games physically, which includes keys in boxes, which is stretching the definition of physical release a bit there.
Okay, how much of a stretch is it?
Well, considering the only thing you get in a key in box release is a piece of paper with a string on it and a box.
That is a very, very big stretch.
Yeah.
So given what you have said so far, does this make you agree with developers that Steam is effectively having a monopoly on PC gaming?
Yes, they're a monopoly, but I think they've also earned it. Like, all Epic has to do to compete with Steam is not be such a shit store.
So is that what makes Steam so dominant? Is it the convenience, the trust, or the lack of viable competition?
It's that Steam's level of service is so much ahead of what any other company makes. And then people like me represent 3% of the gaming population according to the Steam hardware survey. But people like me who use Linux are inclined to support Steam more because Steam actually supports Linux.
Yeah. So is it fair for developers to rely on Steam so much though? Like, or should they take more responsibility to diversify in that case?
Well, I don't think they can. You need to be on Steam because most gamers are on Steam because it's got a monopoly. If you're not on Steam, then you're cutting out so much of your market. Your game is going to flop.
So why do developers still prioritize Steam despite the concerns of over reliance? Then,
Because it is wonderful. It's got all of these features that the other stores don't have, and they support Linux.
okay, yeah, yeah.
So there's all these benefits to releasing on Steam that you can't get by releasing on Epic. Sure, you get a bigger cut if you release on Epic, but you lose access to the majority of PC gamers, and you lose access to all of the Steam features.
So the revenue sharing model that we see that you just mentioned with Epic, it's not enough to draw devs away from Steam.
No, it hasn't. Like, you think if it was really all about the revenue, more companies would have jumped ship, but we're seeing more companies come back to Steam,
Yeah.
like EA.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. EA used to have their own version of a installer like Bethesda did years back, and then they tore it down and went back to Steam. I remember that. Yeah, the EA Play, so the EA Play, which used to be
Yeah,
EA Access or Origin Access.
and the article was that you could also go with a marketplace like G2A or Kinguin, which, no, don't. Those are the dodgy shops.
Didn't we talk? Did I specifically remembered we talked about an episode where one YouTuber did an investigative report on G2A. Or is it G2A in Kingland or just Kingland?
I think it was Kinguin.
Yeah, and how they were
Yeah, those are
selling
the dodgy shops where people steal credit cards, buy a bunch of games, and then sell them on G2A or Kinguin.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know why you'd want to release your game on there. So the interesting data is that the predictions for the future from the survey
Hmm.
are that 80% of the respondents expect to use alternative channels alongside Steam within 5 years. So they clearly think that other storefronts are going to improve their quality. And 75% predict they will see at least 10% uplift in revenue from using marketplaces and e-stores. So they reckon they'll make more money from presumably using other stores than Steam, which is fair because Steam does take 30% of your revenue.
Could these other stores, including like Tencent's Wii Game and the local stores, could they break Steam's Western dominance?
Well, I don't think Tencent could. They probably could if they put their mind to it, actually, but they don't seem to be interested. And we only have Western competitors, really. So it's split between West and East. Steam does have a Chinese version, but it seems like most revenue goes through Tencent. So, and then we could probably access the Tencent store from the West if we wanted. I don't know why you would though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there doesn't seem to be much appetite for trying to get in on the other side's territory.
And and with the with also the introduction of stores and stuff, do you reckon this is a picture of a healthy competitive gaming PC game market, or do you have your own version of a healthy
No,
competitive
I
game
don't think it's
market?
healthy. I think it's necessary um to have more stores because I don't think Steam is a natural monopoly. I think it's just a monopoly because everyone else sucks so much. So
But that said though, like that said, like let's say I wear the Infinity Gauntlet and I snap Steam out of existence. Would PC gaming ever exist without Steam?
yes, it would, but Steam has also done a huge effort to make it more legitimate because I have stories from when it launched that PC was considered to be the land of pirates, and then Steam launched and people stopped pirating as much because, as Gabe Newell says, it's a service problem. If you want people to stop pirating, you've got to give them a better service.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have died out completely
Mm.
without Steam.
And at this point, it feels like Steam's turned into Coca-Cola and Epic's the Pepsi.
Yeah, if you want to see it that way.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing with Steam, I find, is when Steam always announces like the sale, was like like the sales season. It feels like an addiction at this point. Like you see so many Steam sale memes.
Yeah, but think about how many more you saw 15 years ago. Steam sales used to be a lot better, and in theory, that is because of having to implement refunds.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's really really dominant in the space.
yeah.
And yeah, there are a lot of memes about the
Steam summer sales.
Steam Summer Sale, yeah, and the other sales.
Okay, is that the implementation of the the Steam sales season? Is that implementation? Is that innovative or addiction?
What?
As in,
They're
like
neither.
the
It's a sale.
yeah, I get that, but
You
like,
don't
is it?
innovate by having a sale. There have been sales for as long as money has been a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then, like, some people just are addicted to buying something on Steam sale, like, and some people think it's an innovative idea.
Anyone who thinks it's an innovative idea to have a sale is an idiot. Oh, I'm
Okay.
going to go do the thing that's been done for thousands of years. I'm so innovative. No. Do you think things through before you say them, DJ?
No, no, I don't.
Exactly.
But what's also interesting with the article I've seen is that people are saying the whole concept of monopoly like very loosely as well.
Yeah, there are other options. They're not very good
Yeah.
options.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like some people are saying the term monopoly here, it's not really it doesn't fit the legal or economic definition of the term monopoly.
Okay.
And how Steam dominates many revenues and there are other distribution options. Yeah, so monopoly may reflect on the perception of dominance rather than literal market control.
Yeah, but I think people use monopoly to mean dominance anyway, so it's not really a it's not, it's just one of those words that the usage just changed over time.
So that okay, but then if Steam, yeah, sure, if Steam has a yeah, sure, Steam has become the Disney of PC gaming in terms of it has a monopoly, but is it? A monopoly would basically be suffocating the competition. I don't see like Steam suffocating the competition. It's like they're staying silent over all the other stores, though. Like if Steam was to
Well,
go
that
on,
would be having a monopoly per se. That would be being anti-competitive. And yeah, Steam hasn't really done anything too anti-competitive that I can put my head.
yeah.
I'm sure there's something there, but I've completely forgotten if there is. So yeah, it's as long as they keep behaving, that's fine. The minute they stop, we're all going to regret it. And I
So
worry that they're going to stop sooner rather than later.
I
Probably as
feel
soon as Gabe moves on.
Yeah, yeah. It's because it lingers there's a question that lingers about Valve and Steam. It's like is Valve a benevolent dictator or is it just really good at hiding its power? And also speaking of having too much power and being anti-competitive, could you see governments coming into Steam?
Yeah, the ACCC has sued Steam a couple of times.
And that's good. And I mean, sure, the ACCC has done it, but then you reckon we'll see the further the monopoly grows, you reckon more governments will come into play, like maybe the Eastern governments might come in and say, "Hey, Steam, what the hell are you guys doing?"
No, they've been pretty well behaved recently, and what is the solution to Steam being a monopoly? You can't really break them up.
Yeah, I mean, they're not like Microsoft. Remember when Microsoft became too powerful, and then they had to split it up?
No, they never really split up Microsoft.
They did.
No, they basically told Microsoft to stop being anti-competitive, and they did for a while,
Hmm.
but they never broke them up. What happened in the US was there was one phone company, Bell, which owned basically all the phone networks in the US, and had Bell Labs, who you may know better from Unix, and they got broken up into a dozen different companies, which fast forward 40 years are now all basically a single company again.
Okay, okay. So, would you trade your entire Steam library for real competition, though? Given what's happened, what we've seen.
Not my entire life. I would like there to be more competition in storefronts.
Yeah, yeah, but then it would be interesting what the competition comes up with just to try and rival with Steam. Yeah, can you live without getting buy a game without Steam though, Professor?
It's getting harder.
Is it a guilt trip?
No, I mean it's literally getting harder to buy a game without Steam. Like even EB Games is basically no games on PC anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh, by the way, as I mentioned with just remembered something with the Microsoft split. So, could there be a situation where Valve will be forced to split with Steam like how Microsoft had to split Internet Explorer back in the day?
No, Microsoft never split from Internet Explorer.
I thought they did though.
You know anything about this?
Yeah, they had. Okay, I remember. Here we go. Microsoft had to. Was ordered to split these by a federal judge in 2000 as a remedy for violating antitrust law by monopolizing the PC operating system market with Internet Explorer. But
Well,
then
they
the
never
breakup.
split, so,
Yeah,
who owns Internet Explorer?
Microsoft in the end. But
Exactly.
yeah, but yeah, the breakup was
What happened
ultimately it.
is they
It
were sued for being anti-competitive
yeah,
because they integrated Internet Explorer into Windows so tightly. Like, you couldn't uninstall Internet Explorer without breaking Windows.
yeah.
And then they were told you can't do that, fined a bit, and were forced to let you install alternative browsers.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently the breakup was ultimately overturned on appeal.
There you go, it was overturned, so
So
it never happened.
yeah, yeah. It said while the breakup didn't happen, Microsoft did agree to some minor concessions to the government and paid billions in private antitrust lawsuits to compare.
Which is
So
exactly what I just said.
okay, okay, I stand corrected. All right. Anyways, we should go on to our next topic about R-rated anime. Whoopee. So there has been a major shift in how anime films are performing globally, especially those aimed at the mature audiences. And the article argues that we're entering in a new era. And one of the prime examples is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Unity Castle, which came out this year. It's been smashing box office records, including R-rated anime films. Historically, anime films have existed for centuries, but were often niche, even when successful. The article shows how they're now
Anime has existed for centuries, you say?
anime films
Yeah,
for decades.
you said centuries.
Okay, my mistake. It's for decades, but were often niche, even when successful. The article shows how they're now breaking into mainstream in a major way. The R-rated aspect is important. These films aren't just family friendly or teen targeted, but clearly for adult audiences in terms of violence, themes, the scale of it all. That's part of what makes the shift notable. And the article also suggests this trend changed the business model and expectations for anime films, which includes bigger budgets, global releases, and more maturity in storytelling and visuals. And why does this matter? Because the commercial success of adult-oriented anime film mean creators and studios may feel freer to explore edgy, mature stories rather than staying within the safe for kids like teens zone. For the viewers, it means more variety. Anime films has tackled serious themes, darker tones, and are built for adults, not just teens and action adventure. It also shifts anime's cultural positioning, which was once a niche or cult category, becomes part of mainstream cinema.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And globally, it means that Japanese anime or similar works are less confined to local regional markets and more likely to be treated like major international film events. Which, yeah, yeah, I can see that. I mean, we're seeing a lot of local cinemas here are also doing the whole like coming to a cinema near you. This what was the one? Chainsaw Man. That's the one. Chainsaw Man, the movie. But there are a few caveats to this thing, such as if it that while it's a new era, it's not as if adult-rated anime films were not successful before. They were, just not at this scale. This article acknowledges that the medium has history. R-rated in Japan doesn't always map exactly the same way. The rating system differ, and an adult audience in one market may differ in age and stability in another.
Yeah, we spoke about that a few months ago with games.
Exactly. And a single breakout success doesn't guarantee that all films will follow the same path. There are always risks. So, what do you reckon about this take that placed here?
Well, yeah, I reckon there's always been a market for adult targeted content and some interesting. It's definitely possible to make interesting content that isn't adults only, but there are themes you can't really explore that without gating children out of your content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It feels like the younger fans are now being left behind now that adult anime is hitting the mainstream market.
I don't think so. I think that there's always going to be content for children.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's just because you're making an alien movie doesn't mean you can't also have
What the hell?
well, it's not a zero sum game. Just because there's horror movies for adults and children's shows doesn't mean they have to be the same thing. And it doesn't mean that one group is being left behind because they're making content for another group.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
enough content out there for all of us to be entertained 24/7 for our entire lives. I mean, even if you just watch YouTube for the rest of your life, it's been more than a decade since they passed a 24 hours of video uploaded every day mark.
Okay, yeah, okay. What's gonna be interesting with now the R-rated anime movies coming into the fold, it's will Studio Ghibli, which are famous for their theatrical success, will those Ghibli style classics survive this R-rated wave?
Yeah, there's always going to be a market for Ghibli stuff. I don't know why you'd think there wouldn't.
I mean I mean the profit says for itself. Like how much money did I'm looking at the money that they grossed worldwide. So the Infinity Castle movie, it's coming up at $674 million. That's for the Infinity Train arc. The Demon Slayer Mugen Train arc, it's coming up as 512.7 million. Spirited Away, 395.6 million. The Boy and the Heron, 294.2 million. So I agree with you. There is a market there, but but the profit would speak more than the market than having a market, in my opinion.
Well, I feel like you're cherry picking.
Okay, even if I agree, even if I grant you the fact that cherry picking, the numbers don't lie.
They do if you cherry pick.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to look at it in an aggregate. You
Hmm.
can't just say movie X outperformed movie Y, therefore, or whatever.
Okay.
You got to look at it in aggregate of all the movies in a particular genre.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. So is Hollywood officially quaking in its boots now that anime can make more money than a Marvel movie? So that being said, with all the money, we're talking about money lately.
I doubt it. I don't think Hollywood is introspective enough for that. They'll probably just keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, but imagine Marvel decides to go, hey, these anime movies are getting darker and darker. Why don't we do that? Make Doctor Doom do something very crazy and kill all your favorite heroes in the most bloodiest way possible.
Well, I saw a trailer for Marvel Zombies the other day, and that looked pretty bloody.
No, yeah, 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 yeah.
So, they made a new Alien movie last year. That's pretty bloody.
But not well, okay. But was it Tarantino style bloody? Because oh man, Tarantino's movies are
Yeah, they're bloody, but they're not body horror.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true, that's true. Which also raises the thing. So so in terms of R-rated anime, so I think the formula now would just be more gore, more money, more global domination. I think that's the formula. That's the current formula for anime movies now.
Yeah,
But that said, though, like with with that formula, you have to also ask though: are those violent scenes necessary, or are they just hype for profit?
it depends. Like, Alien would have never had the same impact if it didn't have the gore in it.
Yeah.
But there does exist a lot of content that is just gore for the sake of having gore.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah, and I think I think it'll be I think it's gonna be a fine line when when you're trying to prioritize that sort of the gore in the mature stories over like family friendly content. It'll
Yeah,
be a very fine line. Like, and that's another question. Like, should studios prioritize the mature stories over family friendly content?
it depends on the studio.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason, as I said before, there's no reason you can't have both Alien and Bluey.
Although
So
you, although you
it's
can make
just
it as oh sorry.
it's just like not everyone is going to want to make blood and gore movies.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. And finally, in terms of being crazy with ideas. We've got a story about the ultra long experiments that outlived the scientists. So apparently, some scientific experiments are intentionally designed to last longer than the lifespans of the researchers who start them. These ultra long experiments prioritize long term observations and data collection over immediate results, often spanning decades or even centuries. The purpose? They address questions that cannot be answered quickly, such as ecological changes, material degradation, or evolutionary process. An example, the pitch drop experiment at Trinity College Dublin started in 1927, tracks the flow of pitch, a very viscous substance. The Centennial Seed Bank and other long-term ecological projects monitor plant survival over centuries. The challenges? Maintaining consistency, funding, and data integrity over decades is difficult, especially as scientists retire or pass away. The scientific philosophy behind these experiments is to embrace patience, slow science, and intergenerational collaboration. They highlight the value of continuity and the humility of science when confronting timescales beyond human lifespans. And its cultural impact often becomes symbolic or iconic, reminding us that science isn't always about rapid breakthrough. Sometimes it's about enduring observation, which I think that's an interesting that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, I want to know why they talk about the Trinity College pitch drop and not the Australian pitch drop,
What's
which
this?
predates the Trinity College pitch drop by almost 20 years.
Oh yeah, the Thomas Parnell experiment. So that's still going, huh?
Yeah, it's on display. You can actually go and see it.
Oh yeah, this is okay. I mean, to be honest, I personally don't know why they didn't. Oh, actually, no, they did. It's 1927. Yeah, the 1927 pitch drop. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I said.
I understand that, but they talk about the Dublin one where
No, I was
I'm
talking
looking
about the article mentions Dublin, and I said, why are they talking about Dublin when the Australian one was predates
long.
it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they love Dublin a lot. I don't know. Maybe they found that was the only one they could find. But some of the points that's been mentioned here. So some experiments are designed to last longer than the lifespan of the scientists. What I find it interesting is how do you tell the scientists like, hey, your scientific experiment is still going. Do you want me to stop it, or are they go like, nah, keep it going?
I mean, you kind of got to keep it going. It's somebody's life's work.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Makes us wonder though, like how does the value of an ultra long experiment challenge our focus on fast scientific results and immediate publications?
Well, it's obviously a lot harder to get funding for something that's going to take more than your lifetime to bear fruit.
Hmm. So should the governments? So should the fundings be prioritized by the same institutions?
No, I think there's plenty of short-term science that deserves to be funded. We shouldn't completely discount long-term science just because it's going to take a long time.
I get that, but then there's always the whole like how does it challenge the no, actually no, wrong word, long term experiments, how do they influence the public perception of science?
I don't think it's any different to a short-term experiment. It just depends on the perceived value of it. Like some of the Ig Nobel Prize award winners,
Yeah.
their science sometimes feels like ridiculous, silly stuff that nobody should have wasted time on, even when it's short-term science. But naturally, if it's long-term science, it's going to be hard to convince people to back it. Like the Ig Nobel Prize for Science one year was to the science who worked out that if you crack your fingers every day for your life, you won't develop arthritis. And he did that by cracking the fingers in one hand only every day for his lifetime. And he didn't get arthritis. Like, you know how, have you ever been told don't crack your knuckles, you'll get arthritis?
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard that term. Yeah.
it's not true.
Huh.
And we have ignoble science to thank for that. Now, that's a long term experiment that seems very silly, and it probably doesn't have a great impact on. But can you imagine how hard it would be to get funding to do that experiment?
Going to your nearest dean your nearest dean and telling him, "Hey, I want to do a science experiment on cracking knuckles. Can you give me funding for that?" And the first answer will be, "Get out! Just get
Yeah,
out of my office right now."
so I don't think it's necessarily any worse with the perception of science than other Ig Nobel Prize winners. And this is not a dig at Ig Nobel Prize winners, because it's always fun to see who gets the Ig Prize
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
what strange science is going on that feels pointless, but one day might be useful. Like a few years ago, the prize went to there was a prize in physics, I think, that went to two different scientists. One for figuring out why people don't bump each other, and one for figuring out why people do bump into each other. They
I
both
think I
published in
remember
the same
that.
year.
Yeah.
And I think that was like it feels useless, but it could be useful for like small robotics.
Could experiments like these and and the ultra long experiments could they inspire younger scientists or intimidate them?
I've always thought they were inspiring.
Yeah, can you imagine like going up to the nearest younger scientist and say like, "What inspired you to What inspired you to become a scientist?" Oh, I just saw the awards and saw the stupidity of it and decided I'm going to be one of those guys that participate in this.
Follow your dreams.
But then, we're having ultra long experiments. It feels like these experiments are just scientists' way of saying I don't trust the next generation to get it right.
Why?
I don't know.
Like you're passing it on to the next generation, so why would you not think that they could handle it?
I mean, there are. I mean, be some people that would screw up your experiment, and they would say the question would be: is it sabotage and incompetence or just inevitable human chaos?
Yeah, but none of that has anything to do with thinking the next generation can't handle it.
Maybe. I mean, look at the but then okay, sorry. Let me just think of let me just think of the question. Okay. Okay, how about this? Could ultra long experiments be a waste of time in a world when urgent problems like climate change need immediate solution? Or are they actually the reality at its slowest pace?
I don't think they're a waste of time. Like, yeah, climate change is probably going to kill us all,
Yeah.
but if we get through this, then it'll be useful for someone.
Well, okay, could you get the next generation to do it right? Even if they go like, you know what, I can't be stuffed doing this.
I still don't get what you're asking.
I'm just asking, like, what? Okay, like, what if the next generation doesn't answer the urgent problem, for example? That's my
That's why
point.
we need to fix the urgent problems now. They're urgent problems. We can't leave them to the next generation. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but what if they go like, I can't do it with the current technology I have. I'm gonna give it to you.
Then that's just the nature of science and technology.
Yeah, yeah, but the interesting thing would be let's say if your experiment if your experiment outlives you, and the question would be, does it even matter you get the credit, or is science basically a giant ghost story?
You need to go back on your meds.
I'm going crazier by the minute.
Nothing you say is making any sense.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Can we move on before you break my
Yeah,
brain anymore?
I'm gonna break it. I will not break your brain anymore. Okay, we'll be back with we'll be back after a short break and be back with our shout outs and our wacky movie. We would like to thank our partners at Res for giving us this lovely energy formula.
Ooh, sciencey.
What does this lovely energy formula do, Professor?
Protects your eyesight, helps alertness. And you could have warned me you were going to ask me so I could have the notes.
Yes, yes.
But it comes in delicious crisp apple berry flavour. Mix one sachet with cold water, and you have a delicious drink to help your alert to keep you in the game for longer.
Yes. And it comes in 12 serves, 24 serves, or 36 serves. And thanks to our partnership at Res, when you type nerds at the checkout, you get a nice 10% discount. A very nice. So, on to our shout outs on the 5th of November 2025. It's the 30th anniversary of Game FAQs being launched to the World Wide Web. So, for those who are curious what Game FAQs is, it is a video gaming website that hosts guides and as well as an active message board forum. It was created in November 1995 by Jeff Vesey and has been owned by Fandom Inc. since October 2022. The site has a database of video game information, FAQs, cheat codes, reviews, game saves, box art images, and screenshots. almost all of which are submitted by volunteered contributors. It covers game systems made as far back as 1980s to current day modern consoles, as well as computer games and mobile games. Game FAQs also host an active message board community, which has a discussion board for each game in its site's database, along with a variety of other boards. Game FAQs has run daily opinion polls and tournament contests as well as annual character battles since November 30th, 1999.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah,
I
likewise,
used to use that
likewise.
a lot.
Yeah, I used to use that a lot during my PS1 days when I would play a lot of the WWE games, and they would go with create a wrestler models, and I'll just download one of the models and from Game FAQs and try it out, and some of them were very accurate. Like wow, they were very accurate in detail.
Yeah,
But
down to
this
the
was
pixel.
yeah, down to the nearest pixel. But on February 6, 2018, the site changed its domain from GameFAQs.com to GameFAQs.gamespot.com due to CNET, owner of GameSpot, acquiring GameFAQs and integrating GameFAQs into the GameSpot network. The link GameFAQs.com redirects to GameFAQs.gamespot.com as a result. So basically, GameFAQs was Wikipedia before Wikipedia for gamers. On the 7th of
You
November.
say that, but yes, it actually predates Wikipedia.
Yeah, yeah. On the 7th of November 1492, I'm going to get this name wrong. And Sissenheim meteorite, the oldest meteorite, also with a known date of impact, strikes the in a wheat field outside the village of Sissenheim, Alsace, Alsace, France. Man, that name. The Ensissenheim meteorite is a stony meteorite that fell on November 7th, 1492 on a wheat field outside the walled town of Ensissenheim in then Alsace. Sassy. Oh, I'm going so bad with this. Kill me now. Further,
You getting it terribly wrong. I'm pretty
I
sure it's
know.
Alsace. No, I can't say it. Me.
You
Alsace,
called
I
me.
think, is the pronunciation.
You called me out on it, and now you're getting
Or
it wrong.
Alsace, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not French.
I mean,
And French people hate writing things phonetically.
I wonder if I can find like the way they say it in the pronunciation. You can say it, Alsace. That's it. That's how they say it, Alsace. Which makes it no sense. So further Germany, now France. The meteorite can still be seen in Ensissenheim's museum, the 16th century Musée de la Renaissance. It is the oldest recorded stony European meteorite fall, from which there is still which there is still some meteoritic material preserved. So the fall of the meteorite throughout the Earth's atmosphere was observed as a fireball at a distance of up to 150 kilometers from where it eventually landed. Residents of the walled town and nearby farms and villages gathered at the location to raise the meteorite from its impact hole and began removing pieces of it. A local magistrate interfered with the destruction of stone in order to preserve the object for King Maximilian, the son of the reigning Holy Roman Emperor Frederick III. A piece of the meteorite was sent to Cardinal Piccolomini, later Pope Pius III, at the Vatican, along with the number of related verses written by Sebastian Brandt. And King Maximilian, who was on his way to a campaign against France, ordered for it to be preserved at the local church, suspended by a chain. He and his advisors decided that the meteorite was a good omen. What an interesting way to look at it. It was subsequently utilized for propaganda against France. One reason for the quick spreading of the story throughout Europe was the loud volume of the meteorite impact. Contemporaries reportedly heard the sound for at least 100 miles away. And 2 months later, Maximilian defeated a far larger French army than his own at the Battle of Senlis, which prompted Brandt to produce another broadsheet reminding the readers about his prediction. Yeah, that's one hell of a good luck totem. So, Professor, what's our messed up moment in nerddom this time?
A Austro Hungarian chap named Franz Reichelt, a French
Like,
tailor, inventor, and parachuting pioneer.
oh yeah.
He began designing parachutes basically, and his in the early 1900s, and he would throw dummies off the roof of his 5-story apartment block with his homemade parachutes attached to test them. And yeah, that worked well. The parachutes opened, the dummies survived the fall. And believing that he needed to be higher, he convinced the Parisian prefecture of police to give him permission to conduct the test from the Eiffel Tower. In 1912, he climbed the tower, put on his parachute, and threw himself off. The parachute failed to open, and he fell nearly 60 meters to his death. And there is video footage of
Oh shit.
yeah, from 1912 of a guy jumping off the Eiffel Tower. And it's on Wikipedia, and
Ah,
includes shows the crater left by his body.
no.
There's even a little puff of dirt when he hits the ground.
Oh, that's yeah, yep. That's very graphic.
Yeah.
Thank God it was not in color. That would have been very terrible.
Yep. The newspaper Le Petit Parisien reported that his right leg and arm were crushed, his skull and spine broken, and that he was bleeding from his mouth, nose, and ears. Edouard Launay, writing in Liberation in 2009, said that an autopsy concluded that he died of a heart attack during his. So he never even made
So,
the ground.
I mean, the sheer sight of you hitting you falling to your death and hitting the ground, yeah, that could scare a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I think he intended to die because he was apparently cheery, and as he was climbing the tower, he waved to people and he was like, "Hey, see you soon." And then, yeah, he didn't make it.
Yeah, yeah, and that kids is why the Darwin Awards were created. Onto a wacky movie on the 7th of November 1957, Doroga K Sezvedem, aka Road to the Stars, premiered in former Soviet Union. It was directed by Pavel Klashentsev. I can't remember how's that name. Following a story of Boris Lepunov and Vasily Solovyov. The sci-fi drama starred Georgy Solovoy, Leonid Kamara, Georgy and others. And here's the plot
Not even
summary.
sure you're saying actual words anymore.
I know. I,
That's how
I,
bad your pronunciations are.
Blah, 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 blah. I think my language center of my brain just eroded after reading so many names now. A groundbreaking popular science fiction film about the past and future astronautics, from the first experiment on Constantine. I can't read this anymore. I give up, man. I'm not reading this surname. To the manned spaceflight and colonization of the moon. The film was far ahead of its time in terms of cinematic special effects. In particular, it features a wheel-shaped space station 11 years before Kubrick's famous 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey. But it's believed that this movie significantly influenced A Space Odyssey, in particular the accurate depiction of the weightlessness and a rotating space station. Encyclopedia Astronautica describes some scenes from 2001 as a shot-for-shot duplication of The Road to the Stars. Specific comparisons of shots from two films has been analyzed by filmmaker Alexandra Kima, and a 1994 article in American Cinematographer says, when Kubrick made 2001: A Space Odyssey in 1968, he claimed to have been first to fly actors/astronauts on wires with the camera on the ground, shooting vertically while the actor's body covered the wires. But it notes that Klashentsev has preceded him in this. Okay, interesting. Uh, yeah, so that's all we have for this week. Check us out on our Spotify and all of our social medias, including Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're now doing Twitch streams. I've been having fun. I've been having so much fun on Twitch these last few days. And I'm and oh yeah, I think I also told you, Professor. I went on Supernova the last weekend.
Yeah, you did tell me.
Yeah, that was a fun experience for 3 days. I met a lot of old friends, made some new friends as well. I might put some of the stuff I've gotten from there on our social media. Anyways, that's all we have for this week. Uh, stay happy, stay dirty. See you guys.
Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.